Right, hello third graders. Today we are going over our story elements. So last week we went over characters and settings, and this week we're going to be going over plot today, and then on Thursday we're going to be going over Wednesday tomorrow we're going to be going over problem and solution. Alright, so let's get started quick by first doing a review of what we talked about last week. So let's talk about the characters. Remember, characters are the people or the animals that act in the story. And remember, take notes as we go through this. The most important characters are called the main characters. The story is about them and follows what they do. So the main characters are who the story is about. But then we have some characters that interact with the main characters, but they don't play a huge role. Those are our minor characters. And those characters, if the book didn't have them, it wouldn't change too much, but they do add to the story. So then we're moving on to our setting as a quick review. The setting is when and where the story takes place. The setting can contain more than one scene or place where the events happen. So the setting can be multiple places. For example, in the story of Little Red Riding Hood, the setting is a forest, but some of the story happens on a path in the forest, and some happens inside the grandmother's house in the same forest. So there can always be more than one setting. It's where and when the story happens. And today, as our new thing we're learning is plot. So the plot is the events that happen in a story or what the characters do. The plot of a story is often told in the order that the events happen. So we are going to read a story today, and then we're going to apply the character, setting, and plot to what we read. So let's get started. We're reading a story I think you might be familiar with. It is The Three Little Pigs. So I'm going to hold it like this so that way you can still see the pictures. Alright, so The Three Little Pigs. Long ago, there lived a mother pig who had 3 little pigs. The mother was very poor, and at last she had to send her pigs out to seek their fortunes. The first little pig that went away met a man with a bundle of straw, and he said to him, "Please, man, give me that straw so I can build me a house." The man gave the straw to the little pig. Then the pig built a house of straw and lived in the house. By and by, a wolf came along and knocked at the door of the little straw house. Little pig, let me come in," called the wolf. "No, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. I'll not let you in," answered the pig. "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in," said the wolf. So he huffed and he puffed and he blew the house in. Then he chased the little pig away. The second little pig that went away met a man with a bundle of sticks, and he said to the man, "Please, man, give me your bundle of sticks so I can build me a house." The man gave the sticks to the little pig, and the pig built a house of the sticks and lived in the house. By and by, the wolf came along and knocked at the door of the little house of sticks. Little pig, let me come in," called the wolf. "No, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. I'll not let you in," answered the pig. "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in," said the wolf. So he huffed and puffed and he blew the house in. Then he chased the little pigs away. The third pig that went away met a man with a load of bricks, and he said, "Please, man, give me your load of bricks so I can build me a house." The man gave the bricks to the little pig. Then the pig built a house with the bricks and lived in the house. At last the wolf came along and knocked at the door of the brick house. Little pig, "Little Pig, let me come in," called the wolf. "No, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. I'll not let you in," answered the pig. "Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in," said the wolf. So he huffed, and he puffed, and he puffed, and he huffed, but he could not blow the little brick house in. The wolf rested a few minutes, and then he said, little pig, will you just let the tip of my nose in?" "No," said the little pig. Little pig, will you just let my paw in?" "No," said the little pig. Little pig, will you just let the tip of my tail in?" "No," said the little pig. "Then I will climb up on the roof and come down through the chimney." But the little pig made the fire very hot, so the wolf could not come down the chimney. So he went away, and that was the end of him. The little pigs then went and fetched his mother, and they still live happily in their little brick house. So here's the mother, and then the 3 little pigs. All right, so that is our story for today. So let's go over the character setting and the plot. All right, so let's go over our characters. Our characters are the people or animals or things in the story that the story is about, that it's centered around. Those are our main characters. So our main characters here are the wolf and the 3 little pigs, right? Because if one of them wasn't in the story, the whole story would change. So they are our main characters. But can we think of some of the minor characters that had small parts in the story? Remember the pig's mother. She was in the story, but she wasn't a main character. And same with the man who gave the pigs the straw, the wood, and the bricks. He was in the story, but he wasn't a main character. They were minor characters. Our main characters is who the story is mainly about, and it would be these 4. Because if the wolf wasn't in the story, well, then no one would be blowing down their houses. But then if the pigs weren't in the story, it wouldn't be called the 3 little pigs, right? All right, so that is our characters as a quick review. Now let's review our setting, where the story takes place. So the story takes place at the pigs' houses because that's where the wolf was and that's where the pigs were. So again, our setting wasn't just at one house or at one place, it was at all 3 of the pigs' houses. Our setting was at the brick house, our setting was at the straw house, and our setting was at the stick house. So that's where the story took place. So now if we remember, we're going over our plot. So we reviewed our characters and our setting. So now let's go over our new plot. So first, let's go back to read what it is. Remember, the plot is the events that happen in a story or what the characters do. The plot of a story is often told in the order that the events happen. So let's go over what our plot from this story is. So our plot started as the 3 little pigs went out to get their own fortune. Remember, the mom said, "I can't afford to have you here anymore. You have to go out and get your own fortune." And then what happened in our story was the straw house. The one pig made a straw house, but the wolf blew it down. And then our other pig made a stick house, but again, the wolf blew it down. So that's going in order about what happened and is the events that happened in our story. One pig made a brick house and the wolf couldn't blow it down. And eventually the wolf left and they lived happily ever after. So that would be the plot of the story we read. So the plot is made up of 3 parts of the story. We have the beginning. Our beginning of this story was the pigs had to leave their home. And then the middle. In the middle of our story is when all the 3 little piggies made their own houses. And some got blown down, but one didn't. And then the ending is also where our plot is how they lived happily ever after. So I want you to pick a book on Epic or pick a book from home. And I'm going to have a quiz on Edmodo for you where I want you to answer questions about the characters, the setting, and the plot. So remember, the plot is the order and sequence of events. So as you're reading this book, when you're finished reading, I want you to think, what happened in the beginning? What was the plot? What happened in the middle? And what happened at the end? And so after this, just pick out a book, read it on your own, but make sure to write down the book title because I will ask you on the quiz what book you did read. All right, thank you.